everyone, I'm Jeff Robinson, and you've just tuned in to Unlocking the Upside. Before I founded theinvestmentanalyst.com and Insight One, I spent over 2 decades in the trenches of Wall Street as a managing director, running a top-ranked research division. But what really gets me excited, breaking down the complexities of investing into something that clicks for people. And speaking of clicking, that's exactly what happened when I met my co-host James here. James, want to tell them what they're in for?
Thanks, Jeff. Let's just say I'm the guy who's going to ask the uncomfortable questions. The ones our listeners are thinking, but might be too polite to ask. Someone's got to keep this Wall Street veteran honest, right?
And I wouldn't have it any other way. Look, here's what makes this podcast different. We're not here to give you the same old market commentary you can get anywhere else. Instead, we're going to pull back the curtain on how successful investors actually think. We'll share the frameworks, the mental models, and yes, even the mistakes that shaped our understanding of markets. Each episode will walk you through real investment scenarios, the kind of situations where millions are on the line, and the right analytical approach makes all the difference. And whether you're managing a major portfolio or just starting to dip your toes into investing, these insights can transform how you evaluate opportunities.
Want to take what you learn here even further? Check out our Insight One app. It's like having a Wall Street analyst in your pocket, complete with professional-grade tools and interactive learning modules. Start your free 14-day trial and see for yourself. No commitment required.
Okay, let's talk artificial general intelligence. It's not just a sci-fi concept anymore. By 2030, we might need 20% of the entire US power grid just to run AI systems. That's the scale of the revolution we're facing, folks.
Wow, that's an incredible statistic. It really puts the potential impact of AGI into perspective. So how did we get here? And what does this mean for our future?
Well, to understand where we're heading, we need to start with where we are right now. Many of our listeners are probably already using AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude in their daily work. But here's the thing, these represent what we call narrow AI. They're incredibly good at specific tasks, but they're not truly intelligent in the way humans are.
So it's like having a super smart calculator, but one that can't understand the broader context of the problems it's solving.
Exactly. Now imagine an artificial intelligence that can match or exceed human-level cognition across virtually all domains. That's what AGI represents. It's not just better at chess or image recognition. It would be able to reason, learn, and adapt across any domain, just like a human, but potentially much faster and more capable.
That's mind-blowing. But how close are we to achieving this? Is this something we'll see in our lifetimes?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. In AI development, progress is measured in what's called orders of magnitude, or OOMs. Each represents a 10 times increase in computing power. Right now, we're seeing about 0.5 of progress per year in AI capabilities.
So we're basically doubling AI capabilities every 2 years.
That's right. And this consistent scaling has led to some staggering infrastructure requirements. By 2026, we're looking at training clusters requiring about 1 gigawatt of power. That's equivalent to the output of a large nuclear reactor. By 2028, that could grow to 10 gigawatts, enough to power a small US state.
Wait, are you telling me that by 2028, just 6 years from now, we might need the equivalent of a small state's power supply just to run AI systems?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. And remember that statistic I mentioned at the start? By 2030, we might need power equivalent to 20% of current US electricity production. It's an absolutely staggering amount of energy.
That's hard to even comprehend. The scale of this is just enormous. But what does this mean for the average person? How will this affect our daily lives and the economy?
Well, the investment implications are profound. Consider the computing hardware landscape. Companies like Nvidia aren't just selling more chips. They're at the forefront of a fundamental transformation in computing infrastructure. The market for AI accelerators could reach $400 billion by 2027.
$400 billion. That's larger than the GDP of many countries.
Exactly. And this isn't just about buying semiconductor stocks. It's about understanding a complete restructuring of our computing infrastructure. Then there's the power generation angle. When single AI training facilities require multiple gigawatts of power, we're talking about an unprecedented demand for new power generation capacities.
So we're not just talking about adding a few power plants here and there. This is a fundamental reshape of our entire energy infrastructure.
Precisely, but here's where it gets even more interesting, something called the intelligence explosion. Once we achieve human-level AGI, these systems could potentially be used to improve AI technology itself. This creates a feedback loop that could lead to rapid advancement. We're talking about compressing years of technological progress into months.
Oh, that's almost scary to think about. The pace of change could be overwhelming. How would our markets and economy even keep up with that kind of rapid advancement?
That's a great question. When we have millions of AGI analysts working 24/7, current market inefficiencies that human analysts exploit could disappear in seconds. The entire concept of information advantage in markets might need to be rethought.
So we could be looking at a completely different financial landscape. But surely there must be challenges and risks to all this advancement, right?
Absolutely. One crucial concept is the data wall. Current AI systems train on internet data, but we're running out of quality training data. This could either slow progress or force a fundamental change in how AI systems learn.
I never thought we'd run out of data on the internet. So what happens then?
Well, companies developing synthetic data solutions or new training methodologies could become increasingly important. And then there's the regulatory aspect. AGI will likely be treated as a national security priority, similar to nuclear technology.
So we could see restrictions on international technology transfer, foreign investment, and export controls on critical components.
Exactly. The national security implications could reshape global technology supply chains. It's not just about technological advancement, it's about geopolitics and national competitiveness. And
this is also complex and far-reaching. How can our listeners even begin to think about this in terms of their own lives and investments?
Well, here's a framework for thinking about AGI investments. In the near term, focus on understanding the infrastructure build-out and technical progress indicators. Medium term, watch for companies positioning themselves for AGI integration and keep an eye on regulatory developments. Long term, prepare for potential economic growth acceleration and the implications of superintelligent systems.
That's a lot to take in. It feels like we're standing on the brink of a new era, doesn't it?
It really does. And that's what makes this topic so fascinating and important. We're not just talking about a new technology, we're talking about a fundamental shift in human capability and potential. The development of AGI could be as transformative as the Industrial Revolution or the invention of the internet, maybe even more so.
It's exciting and terrifying at the same time. On one hand, the potential benefits are enormous. We could solve complex problems like climate change, disease, or space exploration much faster. But on the other hand, the risks are equally massive. What about job displacement on a massive scale?
Those are all valid concerns, and they're part of why this topic is so crucial to understand. We're not just passive observers in this process. The decisions we make as a society in the coming years will shape the development and implementation of AGI.
So what can our listeners do to stay informed and prepared for this potential future?
Great question. First, stay curious and keep learning. The field of AI is evolving rapidly, so it's important to stay up to date with the latest developments. Read books, follow reputable AI researchers on social media, and attend talks or webinars if you can.
And I imagine it's not just about understanding the technology itself, but also its potential impacts on society, the economy, and ethics, right?
Absolutely. It's crucial to engage with the ethical and societal implications of AGI, participate in discussions, support responsible AI development, and consider how these changes might affect your industry or career.
Speaking of careers, do you have any advice for people who want to position themselves for this potential AGI future?
Well, developing skills that complement AI rather than compete with it is a good start. Critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and complex problem solving are all areas where humans are likely to maintain an edge over AI for some time.
And for investors?
For investors, it's about staying alert to the opportunities and risks we've discussed. Look at companies involved in AI development, but also those in supporting industries like energy and computing infrastructure. And don't forget about the potential disruptors. Companies working on novel AI training methods or synthetic data generation could become major players.
This has been such an enlightening discussion. It really drives home how transformative AGI could be, and how important it is for all of us to be thinking about and preparing for this potential future.
Absolutely. As we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with this thought. The development of AGI represents both an enormous opportunity and a significant challenge for humanity. By staying informed, engaged, and proactive, we can all play a part in shaping this technology for the benefit of all.
Well said. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of artificial general intelligence. Remember, the future isn't set in stone. It's shaped by the choices we make today.
That's all for today's episode of Unlocking the Upside. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The future is waiting, and it's going to be an incredible journey. Let me just slip a little advert in. Want to learn investing like the pros do? I'm excited to introduce you to Insight One, a project that's incredibly close to my heart. After spending years on Wall Street and earning a #1 analyst ranking from Institutional Investor 10 times, I realized something. Everyone deserves access to high-quality investment education, not just the big institutions. And that's exactly what we've built with Insight One. Think of it as having a seasoned Wall Street mentor in your pocket. We've taken the complex world of institutional investing and broken it down into bite-sized, interactive lessons that adapt to how you learn best. No more dry textbooks or confusing jargon. Just clear, actionable insights backed by decades of real-world experience. The best part, whether you're making your first investment or you're a seasoned trader looking to level up, Insight One meets you where you are. You'll learn the same analytical approaches I used when advising major financial institutions, just presented in a way that makes sense for you. Ready to transform your investment knowledge? Download Insight One from the App Store or Google Play, or visit us at theinvestmentanalyst.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode